Hello, everyone. Very good evening and a warm welcome to each and every one of you in today's masterclass by Coding Ninjas in association with Naukri.com. So, for our today's masterclass, we have our mentor, Mr. Saurav Pratik. He has already joined. Welcome to the masterclass, Saurav. To all the attendees who are in the masterclass as of now, uh, we will be waiting for another 30 seconds since we are expecting a bit of more participation into today's masterclass. Till then, if you want any of your friends, family members, colleagues, or anyone to join in this masterclass to help you out in the better way, or else if you want them as well to be the part of this masterclass, you can share the same link that you have received over your mail, over your WhatsApp, and they'll be able to join. So, on that note, that's it from my end, guys. And now I would request Saurav Pratik to take on from here. Saurav, over to you now.
Hey, thank you everyone. Okay, let me quickly switch on my video. Okay, cool. I hope I am visible. I'll just quickly share my screen as well. Okay, perfect. So, is my screen visible to everyone? If yes, you can put yes in the comments. As usual, we'll keep the comment section engaging. If there is any question, feel free to put that in the comments. If there are general questions, I'll be happy to take up at the end of the session. If there are questions related to that particular topic on which we are, I'm gonna take it up right away. We will also open for Q&A by the end of the session. So maybe last 3 to 4 or 5 minutes of the session will be reserved for the Q&A. Okay, cool. Great to see it is visible. Yeah, and folks are joining in. I can see that. So this summarizing this session, and before that, I'd like to introduce myself. So my name is Saurav Pratik. I'm a web solutions engineer at Google, working with Google from past 4 years. And yeah, this session will be all about the interview strategy for the Man company. So basically, the title is landing Google SDE roles and mastering DSA the smart way. So the session will be all about how to master the data structures and algorithms sound for these companies, what should be the strategy, how you should prepare, what tips or what should be the preparation strategy before, like once you have maybe 10 to 15 or 20 days before your interview coming up, and what should be some relevant tips when you are actually sitting in the interview. So basically we will cover all those two parts in this session. And if there is any doubt in the session, feel free to put that in the comments. And yes, if the agenda is clear, should we start the session? If yes, put yes in the comments. Also, before moving ahead, I'd like to ask one question, like how many of you folks are already given the interviews in these companies, like who are already like maybe like once or twice have given an SD interview in these companies, in these product-based companies, Google, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, PayPal, anything, any good product-based companies. If you have given a DSA round, you can put yes so that I can have an idea how many people are relevant or have an idea about the interview structure. No idea yet. Okay. Okay, no worries. I think not a lot of people have given an interview in a product-based company before, so that's all right. Still feel free to ask questions, and I feel if a lot of people have not given the interviews before, it would be like even like, this session should be even helpful for you guys. And before that, I would like to talk I like to spend 3 to 4 minutes on talking about the Coding Ninjas full stack development bootcamp. So let me ask you something. Do you really want to break into the full stack development and land a high paying job, or get that well deserved promotion, or are you just procrastinating? So before we move forward, be honest with yourself. How much time are you willing to spend figuring things out on your own? Right? And now let's talk about the bigger picture. So the demand for the full stack developers is skyrocketing, and companies today don't just want the front end or back end developers, they want engineers who can build end to end solutions. So the global market for full stack developer is growing at nearly 25% CAGR, with thousands of opening across startups and top tech giants. So Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Flipkart, and countless startups are aggressively hiring full stack developers, due to which they get fast promotions and high salary hikes compared to other specialized roles. So the question isn't whether there are jobs. The question is, are you on the right path to get one? And the fastest way to transition into a full stack development role is the structured guidance and a clear roadmap. And without it, you're just guessing. So, and that's where the program like Coding Ninja's Job Bootcamp comes in, right? It's an AI infused curriculum that aligns with the industry needs, a 128% average salary hike for the learners who complete the program, 95% placement rate because learning is useless if it doesn't get you hired, and one-on-one doubt support from the industry mentors, and hands-on project that makes you interview ready. So in just 9 months, thousands of learners have transitioned into high-paying roles. The only question is, do you want to be the next? And if you are serious about making this transition, fill in the form shared in the chat box. The team will reach out to you. And if you're eligible, you might even qualify for a scholarship. And more details have been shared in the chat. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to quickly share the form, which you can fill out. And if you're interested in the Coding Ninjas Bootcamp, feel free to fill out the form, and the Coding Ninjas team will be reaching out to you. So here is the form link I'm sharing now. And I hope if you're interested, you're gonna fill it and the people will reach out to you. Okay, great. So moving forward, let's come back to the session. Uh, what we are discussing is the interview structure and how we can clear a DSA round. So this session will be heavily focused on the DSA part, but we will gonna touch upon other rounds of interview as well, like the system design and the behavioral round, for a very uh, small time. So along with the DSA, we'll be touching on system design and behavioral round. So let's first talk about the DSA round. So the round involves data structure and algorithms problem, and you can expect a time frame for 45 minutes. So the thing is, this round in these companies uh, most probably last for 45 minutes to 1 hour. Generally, these rounds last for 45 minutes only. And within that time period, you have to solve one DSA question. And it can be one, it can be two as well. But generally, the question there is only one data structure algorithms problem, because like in order to solve one good difficulty problem, it's like it will take 30 to 35 minutes. So generally, there is one problem, but if you are able to wrap up that problem quickly, there can be a follow-up problem statement as well. So that's the first piece. And the round involves data structure algorithms problem. You can expect a time frame of 45 minutes. Now the second is the system design round. This is a more intensive and more in-depth round, and that is why it takes longer than a DSA round. So you can expect a time frame of minimum 60 minutes. That is 1 hour. It can go on to 1 hour 30 minutes or 1 hour 15 minutes as such, but generally the time frame is approximately 1 hour. And what happens here is that the round involves a very high level design, the problem for designing a very high level system or a part of a system, right? And you as an interviewee have to design that. And there is a lot of forth and back, a lot of questions, a lot of clarifying questions need to be asked. The problem statements need to be framed. The features or the features which you are planning to implement needs to be put out, right? And in this way, system design round goes on. After that, there is a behavioral round. So this round involves a scenario-based question, and it is what do I say? It is not that intensive as compared to DSA or a system design round, but it's more towards a behavioral or a general or a managerial round, and it's not that intensive. That's why it's you can expect this to be around 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, but mostly it lies till 30 minutes only. The questions can be general or behavioral, like how were you able to handle conflicts in your previous role, or how were you able to deliver a complex project in a strict deadline, right? These kind of questions can be asked, so you need to be ready and you need to be prepared with your answers around that. And yeah, these are the three types of questions. Sorry, these are the three types of interview rounds. And I have one question in the comments here, like, is the system design important for SD1 roles? So it depends. Like, it depends upon your experience, how experienced you are. So if you are in a company, if you're an SD1 in a company for maybe 2 to 3 years, and you're looking for a switch and you're appearing in these interviews, then it can be the case that there will be a basic system design round, or there will be maybe, yeah, if you are a 1.5 year experience, there is a very less chance of having a system design round, but still you can expect a very basic system design round, or maybe at least a database design round. So be prepared for that. Not very intensive, but like just to understand, just to make sure that you have a basic understanding of these um, system and how you are designing a databases and all. um, yeah, so that should be the answer of your question. If maybe you are like 3 to 4 years experience or more than that, then maybe you can have 1 to 2 system design round, and those should be very intensive, right? So yeah, that is the structure. If you are clear, then we can move on to the next step. And yes, there is another question by the same person, that it's about LLD. So honestly, we are not covering LLD in this session, but because these companies do not stress on LLD much, but other startups and big companies like may have LLD in their curriculum. And if even if you're 1.5 years of experience, you can expect LLD, low level design rounds can be there, and it's they'll be more interested in coding. You'll be given a small problem statement. You will have to design a system by writing code. So what they basically check upon your how strong you are on the design patterns. So just like try to understand or try to implement the design patterns. There are like 10 to 11 or 7 to 8 good important design patterns which you should know, like maybe singleton pattern, factory pattern, decorator pattern, things like that. Try to practice that. Try to put pick up those design patterns and try to involve that in the solution of your problem statement. That's a very underrated skill, and that's what they actually look in a low level design round. So if maybe they have given a problem and you're able to incorporate 1 or 2 design patterns, then that would be really great. For example, if you are implementing caching, then singleton pattern can be utilized there uh, to implement caching and so forth. Depending upon the problem statement, you can maybe decide which uh, low level, which design patterns to incorporate. So that is a basic definition of what you should be doing in an LLD round. And you should expect an LLD round if that companies have the past history of asking in the interviews. So yeah. Okay. Apart from that, we're gonna move forward. I hope that clarifies your doubt. And we're gonna focus on the data structures and algorithms round. So here what happens is that candidates are expected to solve one DSA problem, and that is on Google Docs. So it can be Google Docs, and it can be other environment as well, but it will definitely not be an ID. You will not gonna see the syntax highlighters or autocomplete which we use currently. That might not be there. So you should be having an idea of how the syntax of your programming language is. You should remember how to implement multiple data structures and algorithms in your desired programming language. That is important because there will be no auto highlighters or there will be no autocomplete. That is very important. That's the first thing, and you're expected to write there. You also need to be aware of the formatting. Maybe in your ID or in most of the IDs there are auto formatting enabled. So even if your formatting is bad or doesn't look good, the ID automatically formats your code. But that might not be the case here. So here you might have to make sure that you're writing a formatted code. You're making sure the code is readable and formatted. That's the first thing. The second thing is the interview round has a time frame of 45 minutes, and the candidates are expected to write an optimal solution of the problem. And that is like, if I'm saying that it's 45 minutes, but trust me, it's not exactly 45 minutes, because if your interview round is of 45 minutes, then maybe start and end, some minutes at the starting and some minutes at the end like will be gone in introductions and follow-up questions and all. So you can expect you will be having maybe 35 to 40 minutes only I will suggest, like, keep in mind you'll be having 35 minutes, and in that you have to understand the problem and write an optimal solution for it. So it this sounds challenging, but if you practice well, and if you already have, like, given these kind of interviews, or if you have already prepared in these kind of situation, then it will not look very difficult. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is, the interviewers might give hint to the candidate if they get totally stuck. So that's the third thing, and that happens in these companies. And maybe a lot of people shy away from asking hints, but it is okay, because interviewers also want you to move forward. They don't want you to be stuck for an entire 15-20 minutes on a problem, right? So if you think that you're not getting the problem statement at all, then it is okay to ask for a hint, right? Just to unblock you and set you on the right path. And you can ask, it's totally about the interviewer, that whether they want to provide you a hint or not. But it's okay to ask maybe once or twice for a hint in the interview. So that's all right. You can ask for the hints to the candidates, and you can ask to the hints. And if the interviewer thinks that, yeah, you're totally blocked, and a small hint might set you on the right path, then they should be happy to give you one. So these are the three things you should be careful when you are in the data structure algorithms round. And this is basically like summarizing a DSA round, right? I think there are questions here in the comments. While considering switch, should we focus on the DSA preparation, or should we learn different text? So again, Ajinkya, this is a general question, so feel free to put that when we open up for a Q&A, maybe at the end of the session, 5 minutes or 5 to 4 minutes before. Second is Kanish Kataria. What if we know the approach and is close to optimization but still can't figure out? Okay, that's a good one. So you're saying that you know the approach and is close to optimization, but you still can't figure out. I think if you already know the approach and you're very close to the optimization, um, and you can't figure out, obviously it will not gonna look that good. But you should never be disheartened, because this is a good thing that you know the approach and you are close to the optimization, right? And it's okay if you think that with a single hint you can, like, reach to the optimized solution. It's completely all right. You should, like, maybe if you haven't asked for a hint in that round um, before, then you should go ahead and ask for a hint that, hey, like, I think I'm very close to the optimization, and I almost got the solution. Like, can you help me figure it out? And maybe interviewer might, like, give you some hints which will set you on the right path. Otherwise, you should trust your brain, and you should think as much as possible. And yeah, you should think as much as possible, and you should try to, like, ask for a, like, maybe you should think as much as possible. And if you know, like, if you know the approach and you're close to the optimization, I think in most of the cases, just thinking out loud, or like drawing your approach on the piece of paper, in most of the cases it unblocks you if you are already there, right? So if you're already there, you shouldn't be that worried. It should be completely okay. The worrying situation is where you get the problem and you don't know at all what to do. That can be a really worrying situation, but yours looks still, like, really good. So it, it's all right. That happens in a DSA round. It's completely fine. Okay. um yeah, cool. Moving forward. Yeah, great questions, folks. Okay, preparing for the DSA round. So, uh, for a couple of slides, we will focus on the DSA preparation strategies for these interview rounds, right? And this is applicable for those individuals who are actually preparing for a DSA round of any of their dream companies. And maybe you have gotten an interview which is 15-20 days later, or maybe you have not gotten interviews but you're looking for an interview, and maybe you're in the preparation phase, and maybe you are preparing, you have maybe 3 4 5 months, 6 months, and you are planning to prepare on these 5 6 months. So adopting these strategies can be really helpful in a long term, so that, like, it will it so that at the end of the day it improves your problem solving skills and you ace the interview, right? So in the upcoming slides we'll discuss these. Uh, Let me switch the slide here and let me go to the tips one by one. So the first tip I would like to mention is quality before quantity. And before I get into, I think I have a question. Ayushika, hello sir, I do practice DSA, but I face a lot of problems. And it takes me 15 to 30 minutes to solve queries. How can I improve this? Okay, if you're saying it takes me 15 to 30 minutes to solve queries, I'm not able to understand. Are you referring to the problem? Because if it is taking 15 to 30 minutes to solve the DSA problem, then it should be okay. You're at a very good spot. But if it is something else, then maybe you can highlight that so that I can answer it well. And yeah, if I skip it, I'll definitely be answering it at the end of the session. So feel free to put that. Okay, coming back to the tip, quality before quantity. There are three things I would like to stress here. The first thing is don't focus entirely on the number of problems solved. Instead, focus on covering more topics in depth, right? And that's the first thing. So you shouldn't like focus entirely on the number of problems, because nowadays we see a lot of people running behind the number of problems. I have like, seen a lot of people mentioning 100 plus, solved 100 plus, 200 plus, 500 plus DSA problems on on a particular platform. And that's a good thing, but that should not be the only way to judge a DSA skill of a candidate. Instead of that, you should be focusing on covering more and more topics in depth. There's a reason why, because in an interview, uh, you will not know from which topic the question can come up. So it can be the problem can be from graphs, it can be from trees, it can be from priority queues, it can be from disjoint sets, maybe it can be from basic data structures like stacks and queues. You never know, right? And if in those cases, um, if your depth or if your range is very limited, then it can cost you that particular round of interview. So suppose if you have solved maybe 300 plus questions on all these uh, basic data structures like arrays, stacks, queues, all right, hash maps. You have solved a lot of questions around these data structures, maybe 300, 400 plus questions. And when you go to the interview, they ask you a question on trees or they ask you a question on graphs. Even though in this case, even though you have solved 300, 400 plus questions, you will still not able to, you'll still not be able to clear the interview round, right? And that's where focusing on number of problems can be misleading. So instead of that, you should focus on the number of topics you have covered. So you can maybe make a tree of all the topics. Maybe you can have arrays, queues, graphs, trees, all of that. And within that, you can have algorithms related to that, and try to focus on covering the breadth, like how much topics you are able to cover in depth, how much data structures and algorithms you have understanding of. So that can be really helpful. And again, the second thing is don't solve a huge number of problems for a similar 2 to 3 topics. That will limit your range, and that's what I mentioned here. Don't try to solve a huge number of problems for a similar 2 to 3 topics, the example which I gave before. And that again, that will gonna limit your range. You want to increase your range, and in order to do that, you need to cover as much topics possible, right? And that's why like quality before quantity is an interesting or is a helpful tip. And so we talked about quantity. I haven't talked about quality much. So what do I want to say if I say quality here? So by quality, I mean that even if you're solving maybe a less number of problems, you should be focusing on good quality problems, right? It shouldn't be the case that you are like, solving very basic easy level problems and you're missing out on medium level or medium hard difficulty problem. That shouldn't be the case, because in a DSA round of good companies, the difficulty of the problems are also really good. It's not that it's the difficulty is hard or very hard, but it is in the range of easy, medium, and medium hard. So you can expect in these medium difficulty, you should like ideally focus on these medium difficulty level problems. And that's why like picking up quality problems is really important. And The third is picking one topic and try covering different aspects on it. And once you're confident, move on to the next topic. What that means is like you can pick one data structure topic. Maybe you picked a graph topic, or you picked a greedy algorithms topic. Then try to solve maybe good quality problems. And if that topic is completely new to you, then we understand you won't be able to like directly jump into the medium difficulty problem. But try to solve easy problem, and try to make sure that like whenever you have the idea that okay, you are able to solve the easy level problems, and you have this confidence that okay, I can solve easy level problems of this data structure, then quickly move on to the medium level problems. Don't just get like stuck in your comfort zone and keep solving the easy problems and like keep being happy. That shouldn't be the case. Solve easy level problems just for the sake of having a grasp on the data structure. The moment you get a good grasp, just move on to the medium level problems. In the initial point of time, the problems will be hard. You might not be able to solve it. You might have to look into the editorials for every problem. You may be spending hours and hours on the editorials, and like even after maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, you might not be able to understand. You have to go through the video, but whatever it takes, even if you had to go to the editorial videos or reading the editorials, maybe it took you 1 day to understand. But don't try to drop a good problem. Try to make sure that you understand the problem, understand the concept, right? And then try to implement it, and try to make sure that you document whatever you are. If there is a difficult problem and you understood it, try to document that in your own words. Maybe write a one pager article on it, so that later point of time when you forget that, then the moment you will look into your article, you'll quickly grasp what you forgot. Okay, so that is an important thing. Try to cover good quality problems um, as much as possible. Try to cover topics as much as possible. And with that, this tip should be really helpful. That is the quality over quantity. Okay, another good question. I have uh, okay, a lot of questions is there. Mm, okay, I'm getting stressed since I'm unable to solve the lead code problem. How should we plan out the preparation of DSA? So Ajinkya, if you first of all, you shouldn't be stressed. It's all right. If you think that you're not able to solve the problem, try to understand what is the difficulty level of the problems you are not able to understand, you're not able to solve. Okay, if it is a medium level problem, then it means that you are not currently up for it. Maybe you should downgrade your difficulty level, maybe solve 3 4 5 easy level problem on that topic, and then move on to the medium level. If you think that you have solved enough easy problem and still you are not able to get the medium problem, then it means that you're not trying that hard enough, or maybe the editorials are not that good, or maybe there are no videos. So what you can do is that if there is like some video solutions of good problems, then you should try solving those problems first, because video solutions are easy to understand as compared to textual editorials. So it should be hard for you to read a editorial and understand the solution, but it is comparatively easier to see a video of a person solving, or a person explaining the solution, and you'll be able to grasp that. And try to do these things, and then maybe try to come back to the problem again. And if everything is good, if you are like trying hard, you should be able to solve that. It only depends how hard you want to solve that problem, right? And yeah, try to cover different platforms. And maybe if you get a good platform where you have video solutions and all, you can figure that out there. And even if you're not able to understand, like a lot of people not able to understand on their own, and that's completely all right. That's why there are a lot of boot camps and paid sessions and courses are. So maybe you can opt for a Coding Ninjas job bootcamp, where you like they're gonna also teach data structure algorithms topic by topic, and they will have the instructor who will gonna explain the problems. You can ask your doubts, you can ask where you are getting stuck, why are you getting stressed, and they should be able to help you out with one-on-one mentoring and one-on-one doubt sessions. So you should also maybe you can also take that up. Okay, another is I over 3 years of experience as a Java Spring Boot developer. I have never done DSA and don't know anything about it. How should I start and how much time will it take? Again, you're a Spring Boot developer. First of all, it's very hard to like digest that you are already 3 years. You already have a 3 years of experience in Java Spring Boot, and you haven't done DSA, or you are not aware of data structures algorithms. Because like if you are 3 years experience in Java Spring Boot developer, you must be using data structures and algorithms in your daily job, right? Even though if you are using array for loop or while loop, it's still you are like covering a very basic data structures. So I think you want to say that you're not doing practicing DSA problems a lot. So maybe you can spend 1 or 2 hours practicing DSA. And if you're completely new to practicing DSA problems, you can start with the easy level problems on any platform, and then you can gradually increase your difficulty level, as I talked here in the tip one. Okay, there is one question listing the patterns. Maybe you can ask at the end of the session, and I'll be happy to take up because we are running out of time. Uh, yeah. Okay. Again, I'd like to announce we are in the middle of the session, and I have posted the Coding Ninjas Job Bootcamp link in the comments, and the moderators also have posted the bootcamp link. So if you are interested, if you think that you are not able to like prepare on your own, having difficulties, feel free to fill that form, and the mentors will reach out to you. You might get some scholarship as well. And yeah, uh, definitely do check that out. Okay, let's move forward. The second tip is using your time wisely. Why do I say you should use your time wisely? Because all of you are working professionals, right? All of you are working professionals, and you don't have much time. Trust me, I also don't have much time. um, Even if I have to spend 1 or 2 hours on a daily basis, it would be difficult for me to pull that time out from my daily schedule, because we all are devoting 8 to 9 hours of our day on our day job. And that's why like majority of our time goes there. So whatever time left, if we are giving it on our preparation, then that preparation should be worth it, that preparation should be helpful, because that time is very precious, right? 2 to 3 hours of your day is very precious now. uh, in the college, the things were different. We used to have a lot of time. We used to have a lot of time to maybe prepare and practice. But here, when we are in the day job, a lot of you might be supporting families. You are supporting a lot of other things apart from along with your jobs. And if you are able to spend 2 to 3 hours, then trust me that 2 to 3 hours of your day is very very precious. And that is why you should use that precious time very very wisely. Now, what you should do to use your time wisely? The first thing is solving good quality problems. I have stressed on that earlier as well, because if you are solving 100 200 easy problem on your spare time, then it might be the case that initially you will get benefit, but after that your level or thinking ability will not increase. You will be only in that easy problem range, and if you are given a medium problem or a medium hard problem, you'll not be able to solve it, and that's not a very good use of our time, right? We should be gradually increasing the difficulty level of our problem so that we can like up our problem solving ability. And that's why targeting 20 to 25 easy medium to medium difficulty problems can be beneficial, right? So try to make sure that when you are picking up a DSA topic, uh, you can go ahead and solve an easy problem at the start, but don't drop that topic or don't consider that topic done until unless you have solved maybe 25 easy medium or medium difficulty problems, right? Until that, don't consider that you have a good grasp on that topic. Just make sure that you are able to solve 2025 or more than that if the time permits on that particular topic. And that's how you will gain confidence, and that's how you will be utilizing your time wisely. Because I can easily solve maybe 10 easy level problem in an hour, but it will be difficult for me to solve even three problems, three medium or easy medium difficulty level problem in 1 hour, right? If it is completely new to me. So even if like I'm solving maybe 2 to 3 easy medium level problems on a daily basis for a particular topic, it will still be worth it, and it will still give me a better, it will still improve my problem solving ability as compared to solving those easy problems. So you can do the calculation. If you are able to solve maybe 2 to 3 easy medium problems after, maybe after reading the editorial or after going through the video solutions, or maybe when the instructor taught you that problem and then you tried to solve it and you solved maybe 2 to 3 easy problem by looking at the boot camp DSA videos or something. And if you do that in a week or maybe in 8 to 9 days, you will be able to solve maybe 25 to 30 problems, good problems on that topic. So ideally you can devote 7 to 8 days, that is around a week, to a particular topic. And in this way, if you are consistent, then maybe in 4 to 5 months you will be really good in like 5 to 6 topics. You can consider 4 topics a month, then in 4 months you can have like 15 to 16 good DSA topics, well brushed, right? And that's a very good place to be. So again, it's a long time, it's a lot of commitment, but if you are consistent, if you're consistently solving these good quality problems for maybe 4 to 5 6 months, then after 4 to 5 to 6 months you will be at a very good spot of cracking these DSA interviews. You will have a good confidence as well. So that's first thing. Second is, don't aim to solve hundreds of easy level problems. Solving a good problem can provide unimaginable way in which a DSA topic can be applied. Again, the same thing. Don't aim to solve hundreds and 200s of easy problem. Instead, solve medium or good difficulty level problem, because they provide you some very different or unimaginable way in which you can apply that particular DSA topic to a problem. Because if you will see that a good problem, you will never be able to understand maybe on a first glance, or you might not be able to understand on a first glance that, hey, this DSA topic or this algorithm can be applied to this problem. Okay, so it's better that uh, you solve these kind of uh, good problems, because then you will have this understanding that, okay, these kind of problems can be solved with these kind of uh, topics. Okay, and again, the same thing I've mentioned, if you're in a job, you might solve 2 to 3 problems daily, so make sure that those problems are worth solving and you get some positive insights after solving them. I have like described this third tip in a very detailed way before, so I think you should all be good to go with using your time wisely. So just make sure, folks, whatever you are doing, however you are preparing, just use your time wisely. Just make sure that if you have spent 2 to 3 hours on a day, that that particular time is productive and you have done something useful. Okay. Okay, I have a question here from Gopi Krishna. When preparing for a behavioral interviews, what are some common types of questions we should expect? Okay, so if I have to put in a detailed manner, there are two types of questions. There are these behavioral questions are divided into two parts. The first part is those questions can be related to your past experiences, like what um, what is the last time you handled conflict in your team, or what is the last time when you are able to deliver a project in a strict deadline, what is the last time when you had an argument with one of your colleague on some technical design or coding practices, and how were you able to handle that? These are the type of questions where you have to pick up a scenario from your past and you have to answer that questions on that. Another type of question is the future scenarios. These kind of questions are like this: how will you resolve a conflict in your team, or how will you train a junior engineer who just onboarded in your project and the project is really really complex, right? These are a kind of future questions. So two parts, past and future. In the past, you are expected to pick some scenarios from your previous experiences in the companies and delve or put them in the form of the question which has been asked and answer that. And then another is a future, where you can easily deliver whatever thoughts you're having on how you will handle that particular case in the future. So the future one is really easy, but the past one is tough, because the past one wants the person wants you to pick a scenario from your past and you have to answer that. And it's all right, even if that scenario hasn't happened, you can try to make that up. That is also completely all right. because like no, we're gonna like, I haven't seen people going too much in depth. So you can maybe make up a scenario, or you can tell the interviewer that, hey, like that hasn't happened, like luckily that this scenario never happened with me in the past, but like since you have asked, I if that has happened in my past, I would like to do this or that, or I would like to handle it in that way or this way. In this way you can frame up your answer and answer in that way. So that is also completely fine, because like we like, it's not guaranteed that every scenario has happened with me, right? It's not it it's not like mandatory that every one of you would have like be having a argument with your manager or some another um, teammate for some technical design. It shouldn't be the case, right? So if it has happened, then you can answer how you handled it. If it hasn't happened, then maybe you can like, frame some answer and ask. Okay, so I have like maybe talked a lot about behavioral interviews. So yeah, let's move forward. We are running out of time. And the third tip I'd like to focus, that is the very underrated tip, is participating in the contest. So why participating in contest is important? Because the interviews are made for testing an individual on how they can solve a potentially unknown problem in a constant time limit. So when you are in a DSA round, you have 45 minutes or 35 minutes, and you have given one question. And that question is generally unknown or completely new. So what is expected from you is to solve a new problem in a time limit. When you participate in a contest, in a programming contest, what is expected from you is you have to solve 2 to 3 questions in a time limit, that is maybe 1 hour, 1.5 hours, or 2 hours. So the contest and the interviews are really similar. Both of these things help you to help you to solve unknown problem in a constant time limit, right? So both contest and interview rounds like has an ask from you to solve an unknown problem in a constant time limit. So maybe if you haven't participated in the contest before, then it can be the case that you will become um, uncomfortable seeing a new problem, and if you don't have any idea on how to solve it, then it can be the case that you can become even more uncomfortable, and you might become stressed that you have a very less time limit and you have to solve that problem in that, and you don't know about it, what to do, and maybe you can like mess up the interview. But if you have like participated in maybe 10, 15, 20 contests before, and a question comes up which is completely new, and on the initial uh, view you think that you might not be able to solve that, then you will not get stressed immediately. You will have this idea that okay, in the past, like I've given a lot of programming contests before, and in all the cases I had new problems, and some of them I don't have any idea about, but I managed to solve it at the end of the contest. So maybe if I give some thoughts on this question, I should be able to crack it. So that's the mindset that will be able to help you to crack a DSA round. And the programming contests or participating in programming contests give you that mindset, right? And you earn that mindset when you like participate in a lot of programming contests. Okay. The second thing is, when you pick a problem from an archive list, you don't have much time foundation of solving it, and you might also have the parent topics visible, right? So there are two things which you should focus here when you are practicing from maybe from a platform. uh, Most of the cases you will gonna go to a topic and you're gonna pick a problem from it, right? So you will directly go to a graph topic and you will pick a problem, because obviously you are preparing for graph right now. You have given a week to prepare for a graph data structure, so obviously you will gonna pick up the problems for the graph. And here what the catch is, that when you have a problem, you know that it can be solved, it will be solved from a graph data structure. So you will never gonna think in a different way, or you will never gonna try to solve that problem with tree or priority queues. You will always try to solve the problem with graph. But that will not be the case in an interview or a programming contest. They will never gonna tell you that, hey, this question can be solved with a graph, or this question can be solved with a priority queue. It will never be the case, right? And there you will have to have this skill of understanding which data structure or which topic I should apply to solve it in an optimal way, right? And that skill you will not earn from solving while solving the problem from a particular platform, right? That skill you will not be able to earn. This can be earned while practicing or while participating in the contest, because in contest all the problems are unknown. They will not never gonna tell you the parent topic. So that's why participating in contest really helps you in preparing for a DSA round, right? And the third thing, summarizing everything. Before that, I like to also mention that when you are practicing from picking a problem from a uh, platform, you will never have a time foundation. So you can take as much time as possible and you can try to solve it. But in contest, again, you have a time limit. So you have to, like, again, this skill of solving new problem within the time limit, you will not earn from solving the problem from this particular platform. You will earn that when you participate in the contest. Okay, so that's why the contest is really helpful for you in cracking the DSA rounds. And again, summarizing this all up, that in a contest the problems are new, you have the time limit to solve, and you don't have visibility on the DSA topic. And that's why a contest you should try to participate in as much contest as possible. Try to maybe participate on a weekly basis along with your preparation strategy. Just add this, like you will participate once a week in a programming contest, and you will gonna assess how you are performing there. That will gonna help you to improve. Okay. One question is here. I know only Python, so DSA in Python is best or not? Yeah, definitely. I have seen a lot of people doing DSA in Python. You can always go for it. Um, for someone aiming for software engineering role at Google, what would be your top three pieces of advice? What is a mock interview and why is it valuable for tool for preparation? That's a really good question. So if you're aiming for a software engineering role at Google, and I would like to generalize this not only for Google, if you're like applying for Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Amazon, Netflix, like these kind of companies, what is the top three pieces of advice? So if you are early in your career, maybe having 3, 4, 5 years of experience, make sure that you have a very good data structure algorithms, like sorted. You have a very good grasp on data structure algorithms. The second thing is you have a very solid resume. By solid resume, I mean that maybe you are from a very good institute, maybe you are from IITs, IIMs. If that's not the case, you can expense that by having a good professional experience, right? Even if you are from a third-year college, maybe you can have like past experiences in very good startups or companies. Even if that's not the case, you're from a tier 3 college, and if you're in a like basic okay companies, then you can expense that with some of your personal projects, or maybe from your blogging or any other technical work which you can showcase, a complex good technical work which you can showcase. So it depends. So it's not the case that uh, your resume will always be bad. It's upon you how you want to make it strong, right? Everyone is not from a good college, everyone is not from very good companies. So if like two of if you don't have the two, I am not from a IIT. I'm from a tier 3 very basic college, a college which like none of you might be heard of. And initially I also didn't have any good work experience in some good companies. So what I did is that I did some projects and I tried to put those in order to make my resume better. Then I went into some startup, and then I like worked there, and I put that in my resume to make it even better. Then I get into Google, and then I put that in my resume to like, make it better. So iteratively you make it better, right? uh, if you don't have much, you can always rely on good personal projects and technical work. That will always be like will be able to get you there. Okay, again, so acing your DSA round. So now I'm gonna quickly focus on acing the DSA round and how you should ace a DSA round. So the first thing, you should continuously communicate your ideas and approach uh, with the interviewer. So the first thing is, so these are the tips which you should focus when you are actually in the interview room, right? When you are sitting in front of the interviewer and you have the question in front of you, you should always try to continuously communicate. Don't try to directly jump into the code. Try to continuously communicate your ideas and approach with the interviewer. The second thing is, you should be able to write clean code. Uh, by writing clean code, I mean you should be able to break down your large piece of code into smaller methods. Try to make sure that every method is dedicated to perform a particular thing. Make sure that your code is formatted, your variables are well named, and such, right? Because mostly in the programming contest, people not are not bothered of writing a clean code, but here, like a human, an interviewer is going to judge you, so it is important for you to write good quality or clean code. Okay, and at the end, when you are done with the interview, when you have written an optimal solution and you are happy, you can communicate the time and space complexity, because it's a very good idea, it's a very good habit to assess your algorithm on the basis of these matrix, that is the time and space complexity. So you should mention that, okay, I have implemented this algorithm or solution. This is the time complexity, maybe order of n log n. This is the time complexity of my solution. This is the space complexity of my solution, and yeah, that's it. So it's always a good idea to communicate the time and space complexity, even though the interviewer has not asked you to do so. Like, do try to communicate that. And yeah, that's why, like, discuss the expected complexity of the solution with the interviewer, and with these tips and tricks, you should be good to go. Okay, and apart from that, I guess I have a lot of questions. So I guess I have a lot of questions. So I might not I guess I've covered a lot on DSA in this session. This session was based on DSA, so I might not cover a lot of system design part. But if you have questions related to that, feel free to ask. Because we are almost at the end of the session, and I see a lot of questions here as well. So let me answer those. What is a mock interview and why is it a valuable tool for preparation? So a mock interview is basically help you to prepare for an actual interview. It's the name has mock in it, so it means that it's not an actual interview. It's just the all the environment is like an actual interview. You will have an interviewer or some friend of yours who might be taking your interview. They're gonna give you some problem and you have to solve it just the way you do in the interview, and that's how a mock interview is. So you can expect it to be a very formal way in which the interview happens. The only thing is it's not real. It's just some person taking your interview in the way it should be. Okay, the second question is, in service-based companies, how much DSA is needed? So it depends upon how much, like which company it is. I guess in most of the companies now people are asking DSA, and it depends upon the role and the years of experience as well, and how, like, what is the past experience of those companies, like asking, taking the interviews. So a lot of companies, a lot of very basic service based companies don't ask that tough TSA rounds, but a lot of service based companies and a lot of good product based companies ask really good TSA, really good difficulty level DSA problem. So it totally depends upon the company. You should definitely research, maybe on Glassdoor, on how, what was the interview experiences of past candidates for that company. By that, you should be able to have an idea that what is the difficulty level of the rounds. Another question is, are there any specific programming languages that are generally considered better or easier for learning DSA concepts? So it's not always the case, but there are some common programming languages which are like considered to like learn DSA easily. And I've seen a lot of stress on C++, Java, and Python. I have seen primarily these languages being used a lot for DSA, but there are still other programming languages. But if you are completely new and you're looking out to pick a language, you should maybe pick one of these three. Uh, okay, when we encounter a new coding problem, what's a good first step to identify which data set algorithm might be most suitable? So before diving into the data set algorithms, you should try to read that problem very clearly and try to make sure that you understood what the problem is saying. A lot of cases, what happens is that people are so involved in picking a DSA algorithm or a DSA topic for that problem, they miss um, they might misread the problem. A problem is trying to say something else and you misread something else in a hurry, and you implemented it in the wrong way. That was never the actual problem statement. So just make sure that you're spending 2 to 3 minutes thoroughly on understanding the problem statement, and make sure that you have understand the problem statement really well. Only then try to go to the solution part or picking up a DSA algorithm or solving it. The question is, how much emphasis should a beginner place on understanding the theoretical? Okay, my God, that's a lot of questions. Uh, Understanding the theoretical aspects of DSA versus practical coding problem. What's a good balance? So honestly, there should be you should have the theoretical aspects in mind. You should, like, suppose you are picking a priority queue, then you should have the understanding of how the heapify function works, how the insertion works, how the tree is getting balanced, or how the maximum or minimum element is pushed up, how you are deleting from a heap. All these theories or all these theories should be in mind. You should be like, you should have the idea of how to implement an actual heap from scratch. Just make sure that on the theoretical aspect you have the understanding of how to implement that particular data structure from scratch, and then only move on to the solving the problem part. It shouldn't be the case that you are picking up the priority queue library from Java or any other programming language and you're solving it and you have no idea of the internals. That will, in that way, you'll never be able to solve good quality problem. You might be able to solve easy problem, but when there is a slight variation in those data structures or in those problems, you have to have the understanding of the internals. So just make sure that you're able to implement those data structure in your programming languages. And that is the most helpful tip, I think, that should be there. Okay, beyond just solving coding problems, how does a strong foundation in DSA help in becoming a better software engineer overall? Wow, where are you uh, where are you like, putting these questions from? This is a really good question. So apart from, like, there is a lot of debate on whether we do DSA for the sake of the interviews, or does it really help in actual world. So my answer is it really helps. Having DSA skill will gonna increase your logic and thinking ability. That's the first thing. And the second thing is you will be able to understand complex algorithms, or maybe able to understand or implement complex algorithm, right? I was just like doing some machine learning and deep learning, and I was reading the internal of PyTorch. And if you read the internal of PyTorch, how the tensors are built, it's actually a directed acyclic graph. How the gradients flow, it's all graph. So the entire graph data structure is implemented in the as an internals of PyTorch, and that's how backpropagation and deep learning happens. So everywhere data structure is, it depends upon how deeply you are trying to understand. If you go into depth and try to understand, you will find good data structure algorithms. So yeah. Okay, I see I am not able to answer a lot of questions. If there is any question suited for me, maybe you can, like, send to me on LinkedIn, or maybe in the next session I can answer. Okay, and before we dive in, a quick reminder for those who missed it. Coding Ninja's Full Stack Web Development Job Bootcamp is a 9-month program that is designed to get you job ready with expert training, interview prep, and placement support until you land your first role. And want to know more? Fill the form in the chat, which I am sharing again, so that it's not missed. Fill this form in the chat, and yeah, should be able to good to go. And I can see there are a lot of questions around Coding Ninja's Job Bootcamp and how it can be helpful. I would like to call out the program expert from the Coding Ninjas team, and they'll be going to take 10 minutes, 10 more minutes of yours, and they are going to explain how this bootcamp can be helpful in your career transition. So over to the team, um, and thank you, host.
Yeah, sure, sure. So thank you so much, Saurav, for such an informative, such an insightful session. So as a lots of questions being around the job bootcamp by Coding Ninjas, so for that, let me introduce our program manager, Mr. Pinku Pandey. He'll be just taking another 10 minutes explaining each and everything around the bootcamp, how this would be helpful for the people who are looking for the transition that they want into the industry, and as well as for the people who are already into the industry and want to grab better opportunities by upskilling themselves. So once again, thank you so much, Saurabh. And now I would request Pinku to take on from here. Welcome to the masterclass, Pinku. And yeah, over to you now from here.
Sure. So, hi guys, my name is Pinku Pandey. I'm working as a senior program expert in Coding Ninjas. There are many of the learners, many of the students are asking about the job bootcamp of Coding Ninjas. So let me do one thing. Let me share my screen and showcase you how Coding Ninjas job bootcamp will be helpful for you to do the transition, become a SDE, right? And want to the candidate who want to get their first job as a SDE, the learners who want to become a SDE, how Coding the job bootcamp can be helpful to them. So let me explain you. Just a minute. Okay. Yes. So before explaining about Coding Ninjas Job Bootcamp, you have to know about Coding Ninjas. So about Coding Ninjas, so Coding Ninja is providing this learning, preparation, placement support from last 8 years. So we have a strong alumni base of 1.5 lakh plus, and with a 1400 plus alumni who are working with Mang organization. And if I explain you the unicorns, so India is having around 116 unicorns right now, out of which 103 unicorns having our alumni who are working over there. Okay. If I explain you about the Coding the Job Bootcamp impact, right? So we have around 128% salary hike with a higher CTC of 36 LPA. And alongside this, the placement track record that is we are having around 95% plus, out of which 68% candidate got a 2x hike from their current CTC. Then in this job bootcamp, we are providing you two type of tech stacks. First is Mun stack based full stack development. Second one is the Spring Boot based full stack development. If I explain you about the Mun stack based full stack development, the content that we are providing, we are starting with data structure and algorithm where you can choose Java or Python. Then there will be the basic front end with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, advanced front end with a React.js. Backend, we are covering with the Node.js and Express.js. Alongside this, system design where HLD, LLD will be provided, and operating system and DBMS will be provided to you for the merge stack based full stack development. If I go forward with the Spring Boot based full stack development, where the first thing will be the data structure and algorithm, where we are you will get on the Java, then basic front end with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, advanced front end with a React.js. Backend part, we are covering with the Spring Boot, microservices, REST APIs, JUnit. Then we are covering with the system design where HLD, LLD, both of the things will be there. Alongside this, operating system and DBMS will be there for you. Then, because I believe you guys know that nowadays, if you are only learning, if you are not having the projects, it might be possible your resume is not getting selected. For that, after completing every tech stacks, every tool, you will get projects. You will get around 10 to 12 projects, just like Storeflate, Easily, ChatterUp, Photofolio, iPod, etc. Right? You will get around 8 to 10 to 12 projects after completing for each and every tool or each and every module. Then I believe nowadays AI is the future, right? And this content is infused with the generative AI, right? Where introduction to generative AI will be there, authentication project using Gen AI will be there, social media project will be there, LangChain and its application will be there. Then alongside this, Ninja Interviewer and projects will be there for you with the generative AI. Some learner want the tech electives. For this bootcamp specialization on the MERN or the Spring, we are also providing you three tech electives. They are DevOps Essentials, PWA Development. Alongside this, you will get a Web3 Foundation. This three tech elective you will get. If you want to take it, you can. There is no certain additional charges will be there for you. Then there are many of the learners who are asking the duration of the learning journey. So the maximum duration of the learning journey is a 9 months. When I state is a maximum, because this entire learning journey will be the blended model. Blended mean the major content will be the self-paced learning where you can watch your classes in your preferable time, morning, afternoon, evening, late evening, at any point of time. Alongside this, the doubt support that we are having, that is live from morning 10 till the midnight 12 o'clock. As I told you, the doubt support will be on live. So we have 1000 plus active teaching assistant TAs will be there for you 7 days in a week, 365 days in a year, from morning 10 till the midnight 12 o'clock. If you are getting any kind of doubt, you can connect with them at first over the chat. If your chat is not sufficient, you can connect with them with the audio call or screen sharing to clarify your doubts. And as it's a self-paced learning, guys, right? For that, you will get a dedicated relationship manager who will support you throughout the program, helping with the queries, connecting with the trainers, experts, tracking your progress, weekly assignment, regular test. and they will help you and they will guide you to ensure you will achieve your career goal. So, as I told you earlier, it's a boot camp. So, boot camp means not only learning, it's a learning, preparation, and placement. So, if I explain you about the placement, so before going for the placement, you have to prepare well. There will be interview preparation will be there for you. The first thing that come down to one-on-one mock interview preparation in terms of the technical rounds. Then soft skill preparation will be there. Then for every project, you will get a project mentorship. Fourth thing will be the resume building. Some learners are facing some resume related problem. You will get a resume related help. Then the interview preparation will be there. As soon as you complete your interview preparation, then the placement assistance will be there for you. So in terms of the placement assistance, we have 1200 plus hiring organization, right, who are actively hiring from us. Alongside this, we have 800 plus openings every month, right? As well,